Hello, my friends. The Christmas decor has been put away. The holidays are in the rearview mirror. It's the start of a new year, which means it is time for my early January candle chat. This is a series that I like to typically do twice a month on my channel. I say typically because over November and December, I only got around to doing it once a month because, hey, I was busy. But like I said, I aim to do this series twice a month on my channel. And this is when I like to just sit down and share with you candles that are currently in my burn rotation, as well as if sometimes if I have just like a little random haul here or there. I actually do have something to share with you that is kind of home fragrance related at the very end of this video. But yeah, I've got a lot of candles to talk about today because I've moved all of the holiday and traditional Christmas scents. Either I finished burning them or they are back in the closet. I've got some new candles, or I don't want to say new, but I've got a fresh rotation going on. So I thought it would be helpful to share with you what I am currently burning. I give you some ideas for candle combinations if you are somebody who maybe likes to burn more than one candle at the same time, or maybe you're like me and like to burn complementary fragrances, meaning like as you move from one room to another, the fragrances don't clash with each other. So I have some recommendations, within my collection here that I have been burning to share with you. But yeah, lots to talk about today. Grab a hot cup of coffee, tea, a snack, settle in, and we're going to talk some candles here. Please don't forget to hit the old thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you're new. But let's go ahead and talk about some candles. So the first one that I have right here in front of me is actually marketed as a Christmas fragrance from Cringle Candle. I believe that this candle was released, goodness, was it 2022 that this candle came out? I know that this was initially one of the fragrances that was a sampling offered to Melanie, Mr. Kong's mom, when she was putting together her vintage pomander collaboration candle with the company. And she didn't choose this one. However, she said, you guys should make this into a fragrance because it's great. And I'm so glad she made that suggestion. It is Away in a Manger. Now, I don't have the fragrance notes on the bottom of this candle because it is a little bit, it's an older fragrance, I guess, now at this point. But I love this scent. I have always said that this is actually my favorite, winter orange fragrance. I am somebody who typically likes citrus fragrances in general, but I do particularly like orange fragrances. I like them in the spring. I like them in the summer. But this fragrance, there is some spice to it. There's a little bit of clove in here, maybe a hint of like a cinnamon in here. It's so well done, but the orange in here is a very fresh, vibrant, juicy orange. So that's why I say like the mixture with that spice in here is what makes this, in my mind, more of a like wintertime orange scent. So I have actually been burning this in my bedroom right now, but I will say I've had this one sitting in my collection for about a year. I bought it at the end of 2023, like in the after holiday Christmas or after holiday year-end clearance sale, and it's been sitting in my closet for a year. Spoiler alert, also, while we're talking about sales, I will have a Cringle haul to share with you. I did participate in the post-holiday sale this year, so I will be bringing that to you. That's supposed to be delivered within the next couple of days, so hopefully I'll have a haul up for you guys soon on that. Anyways, getting back to this candle, strength and throw on this one for me, because it's been sitting for about a year, has been very good. I would give this one a solid 8 so far. I'm about, I would say, a third of the way through the burn on this one. I've seen in the Cringle Facebook group, some people have commented that their wicks are deading out on them, but I haven't experienced that yet. So hopefully I won't. But another fragrance that has been around for years for me that I like to combine that with is HOMEWORX Snow Tipped Pine. So the fragrance notes on Snow Tipped Pine are pine needles, alpine juniper, white birch, and woods. This specific candle has a pour date of July 10th. I just felt something get on my lip here, kind of sticking in my lip gloss here. And this one is burning quite well for me as well. The first time it did take a little bit longer to pull out. That does seem to have, that has been the story for me with a lot of HOMEWORX candles throughout 2024. And But I would say that successive burns, I'm not having any issues with the wicks. It's pulling out beautifully for me. Strength and throw on this one is anywhere, I would say between, it's around like a 7, I would say. It's not smacking me in the face, but it's enough to fill up the open concept living room here, not necessarily throwing all the way into the kitchen. This is a fragrance that it very much reminds me of like what I'm seeing on the picture here. It's very cool without being minty. There's some juniper in here. I really, really like this one. And it also doesn't smell like a Christmas tree to me. You know, Christmas trees, I typically like to be like a little bit more like warm type of fragrances, but this is definitely more like cold winter air. You guys know I live in Arizona. Unless I go up north, I'm not really experiencing this. And honestly, we haven't even really gotten, I don't think up north has really even gotten a whole lot of snow yet. We haven't had any kind of like rain or storm systems come through. So I know a lot of the country got hit this week with a decent sized snowstorm, but here in Arizona, goodness, you guys, I've got hair everywhere. Here in Arizona, we have been temperatures in the mid low 60s all this week, which is a little bit chilly for us. Not really, but anyways, those are the first two candles that I wanted to share with you that make a great combination. Another caramel sundaes. You guys know I've been on this kick with caramel sundaes. This is an independent brand out of Georgia. They're a small business. You can look them up on their Instagram. They do a monthly drop, and so some of these candles that I am burning now are ones that I have purchased. I purchased back in November and December. So this first one that I was so excited to get my hands on is Cozy Cabin. The fragrance notes on Cozy Cabin are top notes of fir needles, smoked woods, mid notes of clove, peppercorn, herbal cedarwood, burnt marshmallow, base note of patchouli, sandalwood, and musk. And oh, I love this one. This is so good. This is definitely you get a little bit of smoked woods in here, but this is not like an overly smoky scent. You get a sweetness from like a toasted or burnt marshmallow note. There's a base note of sandalwood and musk in there to lend a little bit of perfuminess, but I do smell a little bit of clove. The fir needles are not too pungent, but I have been loving this one. Now, I will say that this fragrance so far for me, in terms of strength and throw, I would give this one about a 7, which is good for me. There have been some other caramel sundaes fragrances that are more like gourmand that have been like that truffle butter cookie one was like a 10. I mean, I'm almost done burning that one, and it has been like knocking my socks off. What is that the word? I guess. It's been very, very potent, but this one has been very, very nice. And the other caramel sundaes fragrance that I enjoy burning with this is Home for Christmas. So Home for Christmas, I'm trying to see here. I'm going through my notes here because these candles are no longer available. That's just how the business model is with caramel sundaes. And I am seeing right now that the Home for Christmas has fragrance notes of, I don't have it listed here. Maybe I purchased it at a different time. Is it not on this one? Maybe it's on the other one. Yeah, I don't have it here. Okay, here's what I will say about Home for Christmas. Home for Christmas, it smells like Bath and Body Works Winter. Very, very similar, slightly more sophisticated take, I would say. And this one is also performing a lot better than the most recent version I have seen of Bath and Body Works Winter. A lot of my fellow candle reviewers have been saying that that version for 2024 was very, very light, but this one is performing very nicely. I would give this one also about a 7. So I've been burning this one in my bedroom and the Cozy Cabin out here in my living room, and it's just given me all of the cozy vibes. I do like to particularly burn that at nighttime. So that has been another candle combination that I have been loving. In the morning, while we are talking about caramel sundaes, I have been burning Winter Woods with their warm cinnamon bun. So I'll put the warm cinnamon bun in my bedroom or vice versa. Winter Woods here. Let me see. Do I have the fragrance notes on Winter Woods? I don't think I do. My goodness, you guys, I am ill prepared here to share with you. But Winter Woods has kind of a It's in the vein of, it's not the same. I actually like this a lot more, but if you happen to like the new fragrance that I'm going to talk about here, which is Tranquil Winter from Cringle Candle, I think that this is one that you would probably like go, in 20 later on this year when they release this again. I did talk to the owners and they did say that they are planning to bring most of these fragrances back. In fact, at this point they said there's none that they're considering not bringing back. So that's good. But this Winter Woods, I've talked about how this reminds me a little bit of like an antique shop walking in up in northeastern Arizona when we've gone there in the summertime. You get a tree note in there. You get that kind of like fresh outdoorsy vibe, but there's also a touch of like apple in here and maybe like some spice. Ooh, it's a very unique fragrance, and I have been loving it. Again, in the morning, it's a great cozy scent, and this one also has an excellent strength and throw for me right now. This is a good solid 8 for me. And then I thought, well, while that feels kind of warm and cozy, I wanted to burn warm cinnamon bun with it. Now, this definitely smells, I like this because I get a hint of like a frosting in here, not necessarily a cream cheese frosting, but maybe more of like an icing note in here, but it's not too cloyingly sweet. It's beautifully balanced out with kind of like a buttery thick cinnamon roll dough in here. Oh, this one's been very, very good as well. Also a strong performer. This one's been a good solid 8 for me. So that has been a combination that I have been enjoying in the morning. And then the final Caramel Sundays candle that I wanted to talk about here in a combination is a fragrance that is actually marketed as a fall fragrance with them, but this is Pistachio Cranberry. And I do think that I have the Pistachio Cranberry notes written down here in my handy dandy notebook. Where did I have that? Yes, Pistachio Cranberry has fragrance notes, top notes of sweet cranberry, mid notes of vanilla cream, almond, pistachio, and base notes of vanilla bean and sugar. And oh, this is so good. If you love pistachio fragrances, if you like almond fragrances, but there's a sweetness of a cranberry note in here, maybe a little bit of like tart sweetness with this. Oh, this one is beautifully done. I remember when I got this in stock, I thought this is a fragrance that I think I would actually enjoy more after the holidays than in the fall. This isn't really a fall fragrance to me. Now, then again, I don't associate pistachio fragrances with the fall. If you are somebody who does, and truthfully, there's a bunch of us in the candle community that we just burn what we want whenever we want. So oh, this one is so good. Strength and throw has also been very good on this one, a good solid 8. So I know that Caramel Sundays is kind of a brand that's coming on other people's radar. I know that my friend Drew Yock did a video about them. Their business model is a little bit Hunger Games style. They do a release once a month. The next release that they are doing for January will be January 26th. I believe that's a Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can go onto their website and look for the information for them to kind of give you a little bit of an early access code. It usually lets you in a couple of minutes before. But let me know in the comment box down below if any of you guys are actually interested in this brand. Would you appreciate it if I did a preview video prior to that drop? So that way maybe I can, let you know what's on my wish list. Maybe just give you a little bit more information about the brand. If you would be interested in that type of video, please let me know because I would be more than happy to put that together for you guys. I always like supporting some small businesses and yeah, I think it would be fun. All right, the fragrance that I am pairing that pistachio cranberry bark with is my beloved from Bath and Body Works pistachio and toasted vanilla. Now, this particular candle was from the 2023 lineup. I do have 2 candles from Bath and Body Works for 2024 in this fragrance. Fragrance notes on this are salted pistachios, toasted vanilla almonds, and then here it just says with natural essential oils, but whatever that means. Now, I will say, this one, I did have to pour out a little bit of wax midway through because it was starting to get puny wicks on me. And you can see that the wax is getting a little bit sooty on here, which we all know Bath and Body Works sometimes does. However, I will say that on the last burn after I poured out the wax, the wicks seem to have corrected themselves. So we'll see how this goes with Bath and Body Works. If it starts to do this, if it starts to get puny wicks on me again, and the wax gets really sooty like this, then I will go ahead and stick it in a candle crock. But this is a fragrance that I particularly love burning throughout the months of January and February, because I find it to be a very versatile fragrance to go with a lot of candles that are in my collection. If I like other like pistachio fragrances, I'm trying to think anything that kind of might be like warm and nutty. That's kind of what I like to burn it with. Speaking of fragrances that are kind of warm and cozy, is a fragrance, I believe that this was from the holiday lineup with Cringle candle. They sent this candle to me in PR. This is their Butter Rum Cafe. So I have already done a post-burn review on this. I forgot to mention earlier in the video, as always, all of the candles that I'm talking about today will be listed and linked in the description box down below for you, as with any discount codes that I have, as well as I'll put some timestamps down there for you, candle playlist, all that kind of stuff. So the fragrance notes on Butter Rum Cafe are butter, nut, spice, caramel, cream, and vanilla. Notice that there's no rum note listed in here, and yeah, I don't smell any booziness. So if you're seeing Butter Rum Cafe, it's not a boozy candle. This is a very sweet yet savory candle. It's very, very well balanced. It's not the same as what's the reserve candle? Is it called sweet and savory? The one that looks like that smells like pumpernickel bread. I have to do a post burn review on that one. This is really, really well done. Now, I've seen a couple of my friends here on YouTube say that this has made like their top list of, Kringle releases last year. I would say I enjoyed this fragrance. It's not going to be backup worthy for me, but it's really, really well done. It's a strong performer. I did light it up this morning because I burned it prior to the holidays, and then I put it back in my collection, and then thought I'll bring it back out after the holidays, because it is just a very warm and comforting scent. It's buttery. There's a hint of caramel in here, but it's not that like burnt caramel note that sometimes I get from Cringle. It's warm. It's inviting. There's something that like reminds me that they would be like just so gooey and cozy, and I really like it. But yeah, this one, good solid 9 in terms of strength and throw this morning. The only thing that I will say about this is that it's doing kind of a similar thing as Frosted Spice. I do notice that the wicks on this do burn pretty hot and fast. This is one of those candles that Cringle candles, usually you can get away with burning them for longer periods of time without them getting sooty or messy. But every once in a while, I get some candles that burn a little bit hotter and faster, and the wicks develop excess carbon. And you can see just from the glass here that this is one of the candles that burns a little bit hotter. So I would recommend, if you are trying to avoid soot, that you would probably want to extinguish this one probably after like 2.5 hours, trim the wicks, and then go ahead and relight it. But this one has been performing very, very well for me in terms of the strength and throw, and the fragrance overall is lovely, but it's not one that I feel like I need more and more of. The fragrance that I've enjoyed pairing that with, so I've been burning that one out here in the open concept. The candle that I've been burning in my bedroom with it is Yankee Candle's London Christmas Tea. This was part of their holiday 2024 lineup. I don't have the fragrance notes here in front of me, but this is a candle that my birthday's in October, and so I redeemed a free large jar reward on this fragrance because I had heard some good things about it, and I thought, you know what, I do typically tend to like tea fragrances. I think my friend Connor said that he liked this scent. This is very nice. It's a tea fragrance. It's perfect for this time of year, I think, for like late winter, and then it could even serve being like a spring transitional. It's not as spicy as, say, Kringle Candle's Tea Time. It's not as citrusy or as herbal as their herbal tea or their lemon tea and roses. That one had a little bit of like a rose note in there. And I know I'm comparing different brands here, but those are the tea fragrances that I'm familiar with. This smells like there's a black tea in here, but maybe there's something herbaceous in here. Now they have like an orange pomander in here, and I do smell a slight hint of citrus, but nothing overwhelming. This is kind of just like a very calm and clean scent to me without it being like laundry clean. I really like this. When I got it in, I was like, oh, that smells like a nice fragrance for after the holidays. But then I was thinking, what am I going to pair it with? And I thought, you know what, this has actually been, you wouldn't really think so, like such a like heavy, intense, buttery gourmand with something like this, but it works. It works in my home, and I have really been enjoying it. All right, let's go ahead and do a couple of I'm going to do a couple of reviews here. I was contemplating doing like dedicated reviews on these candles. However, when I do dedicated reviews on my channel, I have come to realize that timing is really everything. And sometimes if you don't get your dedicated reviews out on candles within, like, I would say within 2 weeks of a launch date, the review kind of becomes irrelevant. And I know a lot of you guys are like, it's not for me, I can go back and look. But in terms of what my analytics tell me on YouTube, sometimes I would say, like, this sounds bad, but like, I don't want to say like it's not worth it for me to film a dedicated review, but sometimes it's not really worth my time, especially when I have a lot of videos kind of on my list of what I want to get accomplished for January. So I just don't see myself getting around to doing dedicated reviews on these 3 candles from Cringle. But these candles, all 3 of them were sent to me in PR. And so I do want to, you know, do the right thing and give you my thoughts on them. So this is Tranquil Winter from Cringle Candle. This one has been one of the hits, I would say, from that, what was it called? It was a Winter Reserve launch. It was called like the Winter Flight Collection. I think that's what it was. So fragrance notes on here are fir, herbal, apple, spice, wood, and musk. Now, I have to say, this is probably my favorite fragrance from that Winter Flight collection. I do really enjoy it. The problem I'm having with it right now, not really a problem. I smell fir, I smell all of those things, but the apple note is very detectable in here. And the apple note is very similar to the apple note that was, to my nose, in the bourbon apple and oud fragrance that was part of their fall lineup, which was a really good apple scent. But this is not like gourmand bakery apple. It's very fresh apple, but it's mixed with that fir note. Now, what I am actually contemplating doing is putting this one, because I don't really want apple fragrances right now. I'm over it. I'm over apple. I'm okay with some of these like orange and citrus. I'm wanting fresh. I'm wanting gourmand. I'm wanting just I'm over it. You know, I'm over the apple. So what I am actually contemplating doing is putting this back in my collection, and I'm planning to burn this alongside the Halloween release of Haunted Hallows, because that one also has a fir note. It's a little bit more like smoky and dark, but I think that the fragrances will actually complement each other very well. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But I did want to let you guys know that this one has actually been performing quite well for me. Strength and throw in my house has been a good solid 8.5 on this one. It's been very, very strong for me, burning very well, burning very cleanly. So I wanted to give you my thoughts on Tranquil Winter. And then the other fragrance that honestly I wasn't so sure if I wanted to burn this one, because this is just me pulling back the curtain and being truthful with you. This is not a fragrance that I would have picked up in store and said, oh yes, I want to purchase that. However, I don't hate it either, but it's not a love on cold sniff for me. So this is Arctic Highway. Fragrance notes on Arctic Highway are wood, fir, floral, sandalwood, amber, and sweet. And here's the thing with this one. I smell amber. There are elements of this candle that reminds me an awful lot. I think it was called Maple Woods in the fall collection. It actually had a similar um, like street, no, not street, road, but it was going through more of like a fall foliage type of setup, whereas this is definitely a very cold, wintry. Looks like the Matterhorn back there, actually, to be honest with you. So that's the landscape here. So this fragrance to me, it smells similar to Maple Woods without the very sweet maple scent in there, but I feel like the base notes are the same. I'm smelling amber. This is kind of perfumey. It's a little bit, there's some sweetness to it. The fir note in here, there's a woody element to it, but it's not overly woody. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like a men's cologne without it being too dense and heavy. It's a little bit lighter and sweeter take, I would think, on maybe slightly fresh take on a men's cologne, but not fresh like soapy fresh. Here's the thing. I like this fragrance. I don't love it. I wouldn't be surprised to see if I pass this one along to somebody else because it doesn't excite me to burn it. That being said, so far, this fragrance is burning quite well for me. I would give Strength and Throw on this one about a 7. It's decent. It fills up when I burn it in the master bedroom. It definitely fills up in there, starts to throw a little bit outside of it. Out here in the open concept, it does well too. But yeah, it's not a favorite for me. So it's definitely one that probably wouldn't be shocked to see in my declutter later on this month. Also, thank you guys so much for the feedback that on the video that I posted. Was that last weekend? On my candle collection series in 2024. I won't go into that too much, but if you missed that video, I think I'll link it at the end of this one if you want to see it. But for those of you who said, yes, please keep this series going, I will keep it going for 2025 if you want that encouragement to use up your candle collection and just be intentional with your purchasing. All right, I think this is the last candle that was sent to me in PR. Yes, it is. This is Country Candles Christmas in Manhattan. Again, another holiday fragrance. And the fragrance notes on this are green, aromatic, citrus, fir, patchouli, moss, and sweet musk. This is also another fragrance that's kind of cologne-y, kind of fresh. I like this one a little bit more though, because even though there is no mint note listed in here, this smells a little bit minty to my nose. It reminds me, excuse me, coughing fit. Hold up. Sorry about that. I have not been sick, but the air has been very, very dry around here. It's been quite windy today, so I'm sure there's a bunch of allergens that have been kicked up. But anyways, getting back to this Country Candle Christmas in Manhattan, this fragrance, when I smelled it and I got it and I was like, oh, I like that, but that's going to definitely be a January scent for me. It's very clean, not laundry clean. The minty note in here that I am smelling reminds me a little bit of the minty note that I detected in the 2023 holiday winter. Was it Winter Woods? It had the deer on the front of the packaging. It's a different fragrance because it's slightly more sophisticated, not as like fresh outdoorsy eucalyptus smelling. This has a little bit more of like an herbaceous note to it, but I like it. I like this a lot. Yeah, sweet musk. It's kind of sweet. There is a citrus note in here. Maybe more like a bergamot. That's kind of like if the citrus that I'm smelling in here, it's more like bergamot. I really like this. It's like a very clean, fresh type of scent. I have really enjoyed burning this in the evening, sometimes after I have made a meal that has pretty strong cooking odors. This one is kind of just a nice, like, it kind of cleanses the palate, I would say. And the fragrance actually lingers quite some time afterwards. Now, the one thing I will say is that the first two burns on this candle was quite strong for me. I would give it a solid 8 out here. But I have noticed now that I'm at like kind of this midpoint, which tends to be something that I experience with country candles, that I feel like the strength and throw is not as strong as it was. So, I like this fragrance. It's not going to be a repurchase for me, but it is one that I could even see myself, like if I don't finish this month, I could put it back in my collection and bring it out again next January, because I do feel like it's just a great palette cleansing candle. Like if it's in my collection, I don't feel the need to get rid of it, but it's also not one that I see myself repurchasing. All right, let's talk about another HOMEWORX candle here. We have Red Velvet Cake. Now, I believe that this fragrance is available on QVC. I purchased this during the Good Morning America deals they had sometime around Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I purchased this for $15. The fragrance notes on Red Velvet Cake are baked velvet cake, fluffy cream frosting, buttercream filling, and cocoa powder. Pour date of July 23rd, 2024 on this. I think I will do a dedicated review on this candle. I haven't heard anything as of the time that I am filming this from my contact over at Slatkin & Co. to see if this is coming to the Slatkin & Co. website. I feel like this would probably be like part of like a Valentine's collection. That's what would make sense to me, but who knows? What makes sense to me doesn't really matter, I guess. But this fragrance, okay, here's the thing. First burn on this was pretty much scentless. Second burn, I could start to smell some of it. This fragrance for me is only, I would say now that I am a little over the halfway mark on it, I like the fragrance of this. It is the quintessential, or like what we know and expect from cake fragrances from Harry Slatkin. It smells It definitely has that cake vibe to it. Um, a hint of cocoa powder in here. This is not a chocolate fragrance. I wouldn't necessarily say that this really smells like red velvet to me, though. Red velvet has slightly more of a balance to, in my opinion, of like chocolate with a slight tanginess, maybe from like a vinegar. I know that sounds weird, and obviously people don't want vinegar in a candle, but this smells like a good gourmand scent. It smells like the vanilla. I would say it smells like the cake accord that you get in birthday cake without the caramel note that Harry likes to put in there. It doesn't smell like funfetti cake, but it is definitely a cake that I am smelling here. The disappointing thing about this is that I would like it to be stronger. The strength and throw on this maximum has been around a 6. And that's being very generous. I would say more so the average on this is about a 5. It's just medium. It does well in my bedroom, but out here in the open concept, the fragrance gets pretty lost. And when I say it does well in the bedroom, even then it's not like smacking me in the face in terms of fragrance. So this is one that I would like to see be a little bit stronger. And for that reason, I don't see myself repurchasing it. But it is a nice fragrance. It is paired really nicely with the truffle butter cookie that I have from Caramel Sundays. I'm almost done burning that one. And then the fragrance that I also like pairing with this, because it has that hint of cocoa in there, is a Cringle Reserve candle. This is Dalgona. This is the second one of these that I have had. I've already burned through an entire one last year. I don't have the fragrance notes for Dalgona, and I'm trying to remember if I did a dedicated review on this already. I have a feeling that I did last year. I'm at the point now where I've done a lot of reviews and I'm like, I don't know, have I done one? I don't know. But I love this fragrance. This is a warm and cozy fragrance. Now, Dalgona, I believe, is a type of coffee drink mixed with maybe like, it looks like some cream and chocolate in here. And that's what I smell more so in here. I get a creamy note in here. I get a little bit of like a chocolate note. It's not like a deep, bittersweet, dark chocolate. That's not what I'm smelling. Maybe a little bit more in line with like a milk chocolate mixed with a coffee note in here. It's just very, very well done, but there's nothing acidic. Coffee notes tend to come across a little bit acidic to me, and this does not. I think it's very, very beautifully balanced out with the creaminess, with the chocolate. So this one is so good, and this is a strong one. Again, it's been sitting in my collection for, goodness, probably at least 6 months now, and this candle is a solid 9 when I burn it. I will burn it in my bedroom, and I'll smell it out here in the living room. If I burn it here in the living room, it's throwing all the way to the bedroom doors. So I've really been enjoying that one. Another candle, I have 2 more to share with you guys, so hang in there with me. I hope my camera's not glitching. We've been having some issues with that recently. I film on my iPhone, and I think sometimes it gets too hot. It's a couple of years old now, so it's probably, I think Apple's conspiring against me to try to get me to upgrade my phone. We all know that they probably do that. Anyways, this is HOMEWORX's Black Tie. Now, this is a candle that I purchased from in early 2024, I think, from the website. Fragrance notes of patchouli, aged bourbon, Palo Santo, smoked vanilla bean. I did do a dedicated review on this candle, and I have called this my James Bond candle. I am somebody, this is the quintessential boozy, sophisticated, like, put me in like a smoking jacket. I mean, don't put me, but like put a really, really nice looking man like my husband in a smoking jacket with like mahogany all around him, sipping on some type of dark hard liquor. And it's just so sophisticated. I love this fragrance. Now, this smells very similar to my nose. There was a fragrance I tried a few years ago from Lofco that was called White Maple Bourbon, and that is what this reminds me of. It's just deep, it's boozy. You get some of that patchouli in here. Oh, what else do they have listed? Smoked vanilla bean. There's a little bit of smokiness, but it's not like campfire smoky. Bourbon, Palo Santo. I mean, all of those notes there. If you've been with my channel any length of time, bourbon, Palo Santo, smoked vanilla bean. You're like, yeah, Katie's going to love that. And I do. I did see that this is available in one of the luxe sizes over at QVC. I have inquired to see if that is coming to the Slatkin & Co. website because I'd like to try to get that on sale. But I definitely feel like at some point I'm going to pull the trigger and buy that in the luxe size because this is one of my favorite fragrances to burn January and February in the evening time. It's just so sophisticated. And I will say, again, this is only a 3-wick, but it's been sitting in my closet for a year. And the other night when I was burning this, it was a good solid 8.5 for me in terms of strength and throw. And this is only a 3-wick. So, but again, it's been sitting for a year, and we all know HOMEWORX candles tend to perform a little bit better the longer that they sit. So the last fragrance that I do like to burn with that black tie is one of my top fragrances from 2024, and this is Cringle Candles Skull and Sonnet. This is not currently available. It was part of their Halloween lineup. I do hope that Cringle will bring it back. We have seen some sneak peeks that fragrances that we loved in the Easter lineup will be coming back. I'll touch on that in just a minute, but Cringle Candle, Skull, and Sonnet, we have fragrance notes here of bourbon, tobacco, sandalwood, suede, amber, and oak. So you can see why I would probably pair this with black tie. Different fragrance, not as deep and robust in terms of the like booziness, but this is still just a lovely fragrance. It reminds me a lot of Replica, Maison Margiela Replica, their Whispers in the Library fragrance. Just such a good, reminds you of being like dark academia. I just love that one. I've gone on and on about that fragrance, but I like to pair it with that. So those are all of the candles that are currently in my early January stash. I'm hoping to burn through quite a few of these and get them into my empties. I do hope to bring you an empties video next week because I do already have some empties to share with you. I'm very excited about the empties because I have actually found a local florist who says that I asked her, I said, I have all of these vessels from candles left over. I hate to just get rid of them. I said, would you like them for your business? And she said, absolutely. So I'm very excited now to be able to clean those out and send them off to her. Editing Katie popping in here, I realized that I had kind of teased that I was going to show this in the video when I was filming it and then realized I forgot to share this. So this is the item that is somewhat candle related that I have recently hauled. This is an air purifier. So obviously you guys know, I live in Arizona. It's very dusty here. And so when I was doing my kind of like New Year's deep cleaning, I was telling my husband, I'm like, there is so much like dust accumulation on the walls. And then sometimes I notice that it gets a little bit discolored, probably from all of the candles that I burned. Not that I have a ton of soot in the house, but I do notice a little bit. So I decided to invest in an air purifier. So I run this every evening. Right now I'm moving it between like my living area, then I move it into our bedroom, and then I move it to like the wing of the house where my kids' rooms are. And I just kind of alternate every night. It's pretty lightweight. It has excellent reviews on Amazon. I will put that, I'll link it down below. It's not an affiliate link or anything. I'll just put it there in case you want to, check it out for yourself. But I ordered it from Amazon. I believe I got it on sale for like $168. So you add tax on that. But so far, it's been working really well, you guys. I run it at night. It's not too terribly loud. And one of the things that I have already noticed is that I don't have as much like gunk, I feel like, in the back of my nose. You guys know, like when you get like kind of that mucus in the back of the nose overnight, I don't have as much of that. So curious to see how this actually works. But yeah, so there's, the on button. It has 3 speeds. Typically, I've been running it at a 2, or you can do the eco version. I don't know what the ionizer is for. I haven't really looked too much into it. You can put it on a timer if you'd like. And then it will let you know when there needs to be a filter reset. And then the air quality light, mine has for the most part been blue. Every once in a while it'll start to turn kind of like a violet color, which red I think indicates that the air quality is not the most healthy. So there's a filter in back here. So there's kind of like this pre-filter, and then there's like an odor filter behind it, and then there's like a genuine HEPA filter behind that. So this pre-screen filter, you kind of just like vacuum off. They say they recommend like once every 2 to 4 weeks. The one behind it, I think, needs to be replaced. The odor one, they're saying needs to be replaced about every 6 months. And then the true genuine HEPA filter doesn't need it. They're saying is an annual replacement cost. So wanted to let you guys know that that was something that I recently purchased. Let me know in the comments if you have purchased something like this. But yeah, this was my new haul, I should say, so far to share with you guys. But the other thing I wanted to touch on was I just talked about it. Cringle candle. There were some teasers that came out in the Facebook group. I saw that they were up and then they got taken down, up and taken down. My understanding right now is that Cringle does not mind if things are being leaked. Some spring launches. So the ambassadors have not really been given any official word yet about when some of these candles will be coming, the timing or whatnot. But I will tell you, there were a few things that I saw in there that really, really excited me. It looks like they are going to have a reserve launch where they are going to have a red velvet cake. My mind is thinking that they would probably want to do that prior to Valentine's Day. So I would anticipate that that might be the next launch. Again, don't take this as gospel truth. This is just me like processing in my head, like the timing of this. And then the other thing that we saw was some sneak peeks for the Easter collection. It looks like lemon sugar marshmallow is coming back, and my beloved carrot cake from last year is coming back in the Cringle format, in these large like 2-wick vessels with the white wax, which personally I have better luck burning, with strength and throw and performance. So I am just anticipating. I hope I won't be let down, but I am anticipating that that carrot cake will be a beast if it is still the same fragrance notes that they had in the country jar last year. So very excited to see that. And then I think there were some teasers also for like the spring, early summer lineup, but I'm just sharing with you guys the things that really stood out to me were the red velvet cake, the lemon sugar marshmallow, the return of lemon sugar marshmallow, and the carrot cake. They're also bringing back jelly bean jubilee, and I'm like, can we alter that to be like the jelly bean fragrance from 2023, please? Because that was way better. But oh well, I'm just one person, and we all know that fragrances are very, very personal. So I am tending to ramble here. Please feel free to comment down below what is currently in your burn rotation. Are any of these in your stash right now? Yeah, I would be curious to hear what you are burning during this the dead of winter, which is January. So I know this month tends to be a little bit of a hodgepodge for a lot of people. So I genuinely am curious to see, like, what is everybody reaching for? Are you done with holiday? Do you want to continue holiday fragrances? Tree? Are you longing for somewhere tropical? Just fill me in. What are you burning right now? I would love to know. So once again, please hit thumbs up if you liked this video. Consider subscribing to my channel if you are new. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.